In the day's other news, new numbers reveal the continuing spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Hard-hit Florida reported 10,000 new cases for a total of 300,000. And in Oklahoma, a record number of new infections included Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, the first governor to test positive in the country. Meanwhile, officials in Alabama ordered face masks to be worn in public places. Republican Governor Kay Ivey spoke in Montgomery.
CDC and others continue to tell us that of all the things we do, wearing a mask is the most helpful, especially to slow down community spread. Y'all, it's just the smart thing to do as a person, as a citizen, as one who loves your family and who loves your neighbor.
Around the world, several states in India imposed new lockdowns, and Hong Kong also added new restrictions. But in Paris, visitors are once again welcome at the top floor of the Eiffel Tower and at Disneyland Paris. Both had been closed for 4 months. The largest U.S. retailer, Walmart, announced today it will start requiring that customers wear face coverings inside its stores. The policy affects more than 5,000 locations, including its Sam's Club stores. Roughly 65% of its stores are in areas that already mandate face coverings. A number of political figures, financial leaders, and others had their Twitter accounts hacked today. They include former President Obama and former Vice President Joe Biden, plus Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Michael Bloomberg, and Kanye West. The hackers used the accounts to solicit Bitcoin donations. President Trump has rolled on a final rule, easing a 50-year-old mandate for environmental reviews of major projects. In Atlanta today, Mr. Trump said speeding up approval for chemical plants, pipelines, and highways would chart a path to economic revival.
You're going to get your answers quickly. One way or the other, you're going to get those answers very quickly. And if the answer is a big, beautiful yes, you're going to start construction immediately. You're not going to wait around for 10, 12, and 20 years. Our bridges, tunnels, freeways, and airports will no longer be the site of shame, but they'll be a source of pride.
The president says it can take decades to get projects approved, but he wants to cut the review time to 2 years. Environmental groups say the existing law safeguards poor communities and communities of color that are often hit hardest by major projects. Some marquee U.S. Senate matchups are now set after Tuesday's primaries. In Alabama, Republicans nominated former Auburn football coach Tommy Tuberville over former U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Tuberville will take on Democratic Senator Doug Jones. In Maine, Democrat Sarah Gideon won her primary to face Republican Senator Susan Collins. And Texas Democrats picked former Air Force pilot M.J. Hagar to take on Republican Senator John Cornyn. Kansas Republican Congressman Steve Watkins is now facing 3 criminal charges on voter fraud. They include illegal voting and lying to investigators. Watkins had listed a UPS postal box as his residence before a 2019 local election. He has a Republican primary next month in a bid for his second term. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is back home after being hospitalized for a possible infection. She spent the night at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, where doctors cleaned a bile duct stent. A spokeswoman says she is now, quote, doing well. Ginsburg is 87. She's had cancer twice, in addition to other health issues in recent years. The family of George Floyd filed a federal civil rights lawsuit today against Minneapolis and the 4 police officers involved in his killing. Floyd died in custody last May, when a white police officer kneeled on his neck for over 8 minutes. The family's attorney, Ben Crum, said the responsibility goes well beyond just one officer.
It was not just the knee of Officer Derek Chauvin on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, but it was the knee of the entire Minneapolis Police Department on the neck of George Floyd that killed him.
The suit seeks unspecified damages. The 4 officers have been fired and are facing criminal charges. Police in Atlanta have arrested a teenager in the death of 8-year-old Sequoia Turner during a racial justice protest on the 4th of July. 19-year-old Julian Conley is charged with murder. Police say he fired into an SUV, killing the girl. Conley's lawyer says he was armed but did not shoot. The shooting took place near a Wendy's restaurant where Rayshard Brooks was killed by a white police officer last month. The The Trump administration will impose travel bans on employees of the telecom giant Huawei and other Chinese companies. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said today those companies support human rights abuses against China's Muslim minorities. He also threatened measures against the Chinese social media app TikTok over data theft concerns. A top European Union court ruled today that Apple does not have to pay $15 billion in back taxes to Ireland. The EU had alleged that the tech giant received illegal tax breaks in Ireland, where its European headquarters are based. The court said there wasn't enough evidence to support that finding. U.S. industrial output surged in June for the second straight month. The new numbers from the Federal Reserve also show production is still well below pre-pandemic levels. But on Wall Street, stocks rallied today on hopes for a COVID vaccine. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 227 points to close at 26,870. The Nasdaq rose nearly 62 points, and the S&P 500 added 29. Still to come on the NewsHour, Californians weigh in on the alarming rise of coronavirus infections in their state. How San Francisco's Chinatown has weathered the pandemic despite its dense population. The Democratic Republic of Congo finally defeats Ebola, only to face COVID-19, and much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.